I get started with this video, I just wanted to show you my day 7 quarantine outfit, okay? Pretty proud of it, not gonna lie. We got the TJ Maxx sweatshirt, we've got the Nike sweatpants, and we have these cute little fuzzy boots that I'm pretty sure are vegan. I do not know, I've had them for quite a while. I hope that everything looks good and is okay, because I hate filming sit-down videos just because I overthink everything and it makes me really stressed. But I figured since I'm stuck in quarantine, and you should be too, I should go ahead and film this video. Hi everyone, it's me, Maddie. As I mentioned earlier, am stuck in quarantine. This is actually day 7 for me, so I am really going strong here. My original plan for this video was actually for it to be filmed on the ice. I wanted it to go up for when I hit 10,000 subscribers, which thank you for that, by the way. I'm actually really amazed by that. That obviously didn't happen. School and life ended up getting in the way, but because of this extended break, I do have the opportunity to film this video right now, which I am still very grateful for. Yeah, I have my computer here with all of your questions. I have them listed in categories in order of what I want to address the most and most asked questions. So I really don't know how this is gonna go. I have a little bit too much energy because I've been cooped up for a week now. I just want to go ahead and get into your questions. So question numero uno, which means question number 1. How long have you been skating for? This is definitely my most commonly asked question across all social media platforms. I've been skating for roughly 8 years. I learned to skate when I was 8, and I did that for about 2 years. I started with a private coach when I was 10, and that same year I also did my first actual competition. So I never did any competitions when I was in Learn to Skate or anything like that. So yeah, I've been skating for 8 years. However, something to think about when I say that is I've also taken probably about a year's worth of time off because of my various injuries, which we will get into a bit later. This next question, I'm a little nervous to answer. What age should someone start skating? And let me just go ahead and say that you should start skating at whatever age you really feel the desire to. A lot of people have this connotation that you need to start when you're 3 years old at skating in order to be somewhat successful at it, and that is definitely not the case at all. You should start skating at whatever age you feel comfortable and that you can. Skating offers so many benefits to people of all ages, and I think that it's a really unfortunate stigma that surrounds the sport and that continues to keep it from progressing. Although because of adult skaters and things like that, I definitely think that that is becoming less of an issue. Adult skaters, you guys are honestly the best. I hope I answered that question well. Question number 3. Do you think someone can be successful on the ice even if they did not start from a young age? I feel like this question goes along with the last question really well, just because success is defined differently by everyone. For example, what I may consider to be successful may be completely different, and probably is completely different than what you may consider successful. Success is so different and defined so differently by everyone. It's impossible for me to be able to tell you you'll be successful. Like, what does that mean? Of course, you don't necessarily have to start from a young age to be successful in skating, or to achieve double jumps, or to achieve single jumps, or even to achieve triple jumps. I mean, there are so many things that you can do with skating at different ages. I would say that training and progress and things like that are determined by a lot of different variables, and it's impossible to be able to tell someone whether they'll be successful if they start skating at 3 as compared to someone who started skating at 13. You know, I've seen a lot of different people start at different ages and they've all accomplished different things. What type of skates do you recommend? I've only ever used the Jackson brand, so I can only really recommend Jacksons. I've heard a lot of good things about Adeas and Rydell's. So Jacksons are made of a microfiber material. Jacksons give me so much support. I have really weak ankles, and so they have always been really great about providing enough ankle support for me, because that is always a serious concern. I also love having my skates super tight, so that is also a really big plus for them. However, and this was a really big one when I was younger, they are very difficult to break in, especially if you're maybe at a more beginner level. As I've gotten older and, you know, continue to progress, it hasn't been as big of a deal, but the break-in period when I was a kid, when I was, you know, 10 or 11 or even, you know, 12, 13 was really, really rough. The skates are extremely, extremely stiff when you first get them, which, you know, that means they'll last and they will provide a lot of support. I've never actually even tried a pair of Adayas on. However, Adayas are great, I've heard, for someone who kind of wants their skate to feel like a tennis shoe. If anyone has any experience with Adayas though, please comment them down below. I'm sure a lot of people would be very, very appreciative about that. Also, my hands are just like kind of doing their thing and I don't really know what's going on. What do you find hardest about skating? Boy. Skating is such a mental sport. My coaches used to always tell me that skating is 99% mental and 1% physical. Basically meaning that you honestly have to do a lot more work up here than you have to do, you know, physically, which I mean is true to a certain degree, obviously. It's a very physically taxing sport as well. For me personally, I have always dealt with a lot of anxiety on the ice, and I've always been a really big comparer. Like, I would really compare myself to other skaters, whether that be at my rink or online. Like, it's such an unhealthy mindset, and I really struggle with that sometimes. As I've gotten older, it's gotten better, but I definitely still deal with it from time to time, and it can be very, very difficult, especially when you're trying to really focus and train. Because if you're obviously focusing on the progress of other people, you're not focusing on the progress of yourself, and there's no way for you to get anything accomplished. Next question. How many days a week do you train? So right now I'm injured and I'm dealing with a stress reaction in my foot. So I'm not training at all, and I haven't really consistently trained since August. Yeah, so it's been a while. When I was hardcore training, I guess you can call it like hardcore, I was skating roughly 5 to 6 days a week. More on the 5 days side, but there would be some weeks where I was feeling extra ambitious and maybe I skipped the gym one day and I just decided to skate an extra day. Okay, and I don't know if I really answered this earlier. How old are you and what grade are you in? So I am 16 years old. I'm actually about to turn 17 next month. April 27th, mark your calendars. I'm kidding. I am in 11th grade, or I'm a junior if you live in the US, that's how it works. If you don't live in the US, I don't know what grade I'm in. What is your favorite skating product apart from your skates? I would probably say my Kiss and Cry bag. It makes it really convenient to like bring out my skating binder and my water bottle, which is huge, obviously. Were you born naturally flexible? I definitely was not. When I first started competitively skating with my private coach and everything, I was definitely not flexible at all. This doesn't really have to go with flexibility, but like to give you guys perspective, like I would show up to skating in jeans. Let that sink in. Jeans. Obviously, I wasn't doing a lot of stretching on the ice because, you know, I couldn't. I was wearing jeans. Once I kind of figured out that that's not what you're supposed to wear, and my coach started to tell me to stretch a lot more, I would stretch all the time. I was doing Bielmans left and right, and actually it was kind of probably not the best for my body. So I ended up becoming pretty flexible, I would say. It took quite a while for me to be able to get to the level of flexibility that I had / kind of still do have a little bit. Tips for overcoming competition or testing nerves / stress. This is such a good question, and it is one that I don't completely have the answer for. Competitions have always been, I feel like, the bane of my skating career. It's like I want to compete, but it's so nerve-wracking. Something about it just has always stressed me out a lot. I think it's because of my fear of failure. Honestly, specifically for competitions, don't focus on your competitors. There's absolutely no point in thinking about them whatsoever. They're not on the ice when you're skating. You're not on the ice when they're skating. There's nothing you can do as far as affecting how they perform, and there's nothing that they can do realistically with affecting how you perform on the ice. Make yourself a playlist that gets you really hyped and just like ready to go. Get into your head and just get right with yourself. Get right with the fact that you're about to step on that ice for, 3 minutes by yourself in front of an entire arena full of people in a really tiny dress, and you feel very unprepared. Just get right with it, honestly. And just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. And it's gonna be how it's gonna be, and I prepared as much as I possibly can. If you need to go outside and do all of this, go outside. Rinks can get really crowded during competitions, and it doesn't really help to warm up right next to the girl that you're competing against, Why did you start skating? I started skating just because I felt like I tried every other sport imaginable, and I didn't really like any of them. And then I randomly was like, I wanna go ice skating. And I literally just from then on was like, this is it. How do you deal with not skating for long periods of time? Whenever I am injured and I have to stay off the ice to recover, I find another hobby to focus on to take up the time that I normally would have been skating. For me, this past year, like this past school year, with not skating, it's really been a lot of schoolwork, which admittedly is not the best hobby, and it hasn't worked out the best. Just finding ways to distract yourself. A lot of people use the ice as a form of expression, and I personally use it as a form of expression as well, so I understand. And not having that outlet to be able to express is really, really difficult. So finding a way to express yourself is probably the biggest key. How many injuries have you had because of skating, and what were they? I have had quite a few injuries. My worst injury would probably have to be the stress fracture that was in my back. A couple years back, I ended up being off the ice for roughly 6 to 7 months. It was a really long time. It was a very difficult time. I was doing a double flip off ice, and I completely missed my foot and just landed right on my ankle. Almost broke it. That was probably the most painful of all of my injuries that I've had. I was off the ice for about a month or two with that. My next, biggest one is probably the one that I'm dealing with right now. And I've been dealing with this injury since August, which really, really sucks just because I feel like I've missed an entire year of training. This next question is more relating to do with school and just life in general. How do you deal with stress when you have to balance school, skating, and friends? This is a really tough one just because I tend to gravitate towards the extreme for each of these. My biggest thing is setting my priorities. What do I want to accomplish? What are my goals? I ask myself these questions all the time. I make bullet journal spreads about it. I write about it. I figure out, what am I really wanting to do with myself? What am I really wanting to spend my time and energy on? Which those are the two most important things that you have. And that will vary from time to time. Figure out, how do you accomplish these things? How do you get these things done? And I think from there, you can start to find a balance. And I would honestly say that there is never going to be a perfect balance with these things. Do you see yourself coaching in the future, even part-time? So right now I actually do coach Learn to Skate, teach Snowplow Sam 3 and 4, and I also teach Basic 6. I have really found a love and honestly passion for teaching. It really warms my heart and really makes me really, really happy when I see one of my students accomplish something that they've been working on for the entire semester. I really hope to coach at least part-time in the future. I don't know if I will ever just be a skating coach, but it would be really fun. I feel like skating, I think, will definitely be in my life in the future. I don't really know in what way, but I think it definitely will be. What is your favorite spin/jump? My favorite spin is probably Biellmann spin or broken leg spin. Favorite jump is probably double flip. I don't know why, I just really find them satisfying when I do them really well. Do you plan to go to college and pursue a career not in skating? Yes, I am definitely going to college. So I'm a junior right now, so I still have 1 more year of high school, and then I'll be going off to college. And I'm actually supposed to do a lot of college tours this summer, but with the entire situation of the world right now, I don't really know how that's going to work. I believe that I will be majoring in psychology and potentially double minoring in a foreign language, which would be Spanish or biology. I just haven't figured that out yet. Who are your top 3 favorite male/female skaters? For men, I would definitely have to say Yuzuru Hanyu, Nathan Chen, and probably Jason Brown. Those are my top 3. And then for females, Yulia Lipnitskaya will always have my heart. Elena Kosternaya, and I have so many favorite female skaters, it's unreal. Probably Gracie Gold, just because I really, really respect her strength and her perseverance. What's it like being a vegan athlete, and how does being vegan affect your skating? So this is actually something that I would love to talk about more in the future. I have been vegan since September 20th of 2017, which I know is kind of ridiculous that I know the exact date, but it was kind of the day that my life changed a bit. I was eating dairy, meat, eggs, honey, milk. I was eating everything under the sun on the 19th, and then the 20th I said, nope, I am done. And I just made the switch literally overnight. Works for me personally. I understand that it may not work for everyone else. It is a really great thing that has helped me through a lot of problems that I have faced with food. I love being a vegan athlete, I guess. I actually did notice when I first made the switch. It was the month before regionals, my last regionals that I actually went to, and it severely improved my performance and my skating abilities. I feel like I started landing jumps that month that I had never been able to land before. I had way more energy. I was sleeping better. I felt like a superhuman for like 5 months. And then it started to kind of wear off and I felt like more normal again. But my new normal was better than my past normal. I've been talking for almost an hour and my brain is actually dead. I wanted to say thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for sending me your questions. I loved answering them. I really hoped that I was articulate enough for you to kind of get the gist of what I was saying. I'll be answering any further questions that you guys have down below in this video. And you can also DM me. I'm pretty good about answering my DMs. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Please stay safe, stay inside, wash your hands. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.